basketball!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GMLB. Another week, another episode of ball. Today we got a lot planned. We're going to go over the Mavericks versus Celtics finals. It's not set in stone as of this time of recording, but we're pretty sure it's going to go that way. At least the 0-154 record says so. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Next, we're going to move into NBA Would You Rathers, hosted by Kevin. After that, we're going to go into and talk about some 76ers drama. Almost that they regret giving up Jimmy Butler and a couple free agent signings that they're looking to target. Some interesting names there. You'll want to stay tuned for that. And then finally, we're going to do another little interactive segment with you guys. And it's going to be guessing or trying to guess all of the NBA players on the first, second, and third team in the 2010-2011 season. That one will also be hosted by Kev. But if you like the content, if you like our reels, you like our videos, make sure to like and subscribe on the podcast because this is where a lot of our content stems from. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, we appreciate it, and we'd really appreciate a rating as well. But without further ado, I'll let Kevin introduce our first topic for us. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so we got one half of the NBA Finals set. Boston Celtics beating the Indianapolis Pacers in a competitive sweep, I would like to say. Just the other day, I believe that was Monday. At the time of this recording, it is currently Wednesday, and the Dallas Mavericks are up on the Minnesota Timberwolves 3-1. They were up 3-0, but they did fall short just last night, and they'll be playing Game 5 tomorrow back in Minnesota. If history remains consistent and nothing too insane happens, the Dallas Mavericks statistically should be the team that advances to the NBA Finals. So we're going to go ahead and discuss this NBA Finals matchup. You know, we do know it's not set in stone, but at the same time, it pretty much is. So Dallas Mavericks versus Boston Celtics. Again, I did not expect this, even though I did say like 9 months ago that a dark horse team to make the finals was the Dallas Mavericks. I believed it a little bit, but after just seeing everything else happen after that, such as James Harden going to the Clippers, the Thunder being good out of nowhere, the Timberwolves being good out of nowhere, my thought of that and me believing in that kind of digressed throughout the season, even though they did start off hot. But a Mavs versus Celtics finals, you know, I think this finals could potentially feed families. The Mavericks' first time making the finals since the Dirk Nowitzki era. So it's good to see them back, being led by another European GOAT. What do we think about this final series?
Before anyone drops an opinion, I want to drop this. I gave a hot take on this podcast that Jaylen Brown would win Finals MVP, and that man just won Eastern Conference MVP, so it's still there. Hopes are still alive. Y'all called me fucking dumb for that. It's still alive.
I'll give you half credit.
Hey, there's a reason why Boston paid him the most. He's the real superstar on that team.
Anyway, before you get me riled up and rile my feathers with that take, we can talk about that next week after the Celtics start winning. But I just want to give a shout out to the Mavericks, man. I hated on this team all season, and damn, I've learned my lesson. I probably will never hate on Luka again. I will hate on Kyrie still, though.
I'm excited for this series. I did not expect the Mavericks to go to the finals. Honestly, that Gafford and PJ Washington trade was huge. And hopefully Derek Lively comes back soon after that concussion he got, because we actually had to see Dwight Powell minutes in 2024 playoffs. And I did not want to see that any longer. But I think the Celtics, including Joe Mazzulla on that team, all needs to get slapped on the side of the head and wake up, because this is going to be their first real matchup this playoffs, and it's going to be their first test, because I think from now it's been a little bit of an easy road for them.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. How can you say that? How can you say that? Bro, that just speaks on how that speaks on how dominant they are. That doesn't speak on how shitty every other team is. They literally dominate.
The East is so weak compared to the West.
Okay,
man.
I'm gonna say this. Everyone, shut up. The Celtics did what they were supposed to do. I'm not gonna say I'm not impressed by them making the finals, and I don't think that's like hate comment or a hate statement whatsoever because they had the best record in the NBA, number one seed in the Eastern Conference. They were supposed to make the finals. They did what they were supposed to do. Now, did every single team they play have their number one option get hurt? Sure. But you still got to go out there and win. And they did. They're in the finals, did what they were supposed to do. I mean, you can moan and groan all you want, but it's facts.
They
Even though
won
the
games
Pacers,
with Mitchell and with Halliburton playing. They still beat them. So what difference does it make? They
it's
still
true. I
beat
mean,
them.
right, but there's a whole series. 1 or 2 games, this guy kind of. I'm not saying it's not legitimate. I literally just said the Celtics did what they're supposed to do. Like, don't look for something that's not there.
No, but then you followed it up by saying that, which is the thing that's there. You followed it up by saying, yes, even though every one of their star players they played were hurt, that is, even though you're not saying it is, that's implying that it is. So there is something
Right,
there that you're saying.
right. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just what the series was. They made the finals, did what they're supposed to do. I mean, I think 2 or 3 games during that Eastern Conference Finals, the Pacers straight up threw away, and I think that just comes with experience. You know, the Celtics were down in some of those games. They came back and won. Good for them. The Pacers also messed up horribly with just lousy turnovers, getting the ball ripped from them. Ball just seems like it's just dropping straight off of their feet, going out of bounds. Team made the finals. I think we all expected them to. Out of the East, the big question was really the West, which I would like to backtrack to last week. 2 out of the 4 of us here did believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win. I remember one of the individuals calling the 2 individuals that thought the Mavericks were going to win, calling us crazy, quote unquote tripping, saying that the Mavericks were going to win. But I think me and Daniel just had a vision that no one else didn't.
I like to make it clear that it's not over yet, for the record.
It's 3-0. It's over. It was 3-0, but it's over.
They just knocked off the defending champs, man. It's never over till it's over.
It's over. I'll confidently say it's over.
But Miles, I just want to say, man, you don't think the Mavericks are going to be their first like hardest opponent this finals or like this playoff run? I mean,
Obviously, it's going to be their toughest opponent. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's not a tough opponent, but
That's why I'm
saying that their run is easy is just a naive take. No series is easy. Kevin said it himself last pod. No series is easy. You still have to go out and win the series. And it speaks on how
sure.
dominant they are. Because yes, Donovan Mitchell missed 2 games. Halliburton missed 2 games. But bro, like they still didn't have Porzingis. So like does it not matter? Does it not matter for the Celtics if we have an injured player? Like it just doesn't like bro, you just hold them to the same standard, bro. Just because they win doesn't mean everything was easy.
I mean, I'm kind of holding them to a similar standard of what like LeBron and that Cavs team was held to in the in like the mid 21st century, so like 2016, 2017, because these are 2 teams that are regularly in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm kind of in agreement with Kevin on this one. I think that the Celtics, I think when it comes down to a finals versus the Mavs potentially, it's either going to be a terrible thing for the Celtics or it's going to be a great thing. Either they're going to be healthy and they're going to be kind of at full force because they haven't lost more than 1 game in any of their series, from what I can tell. And I think that that's just going to either help them a lot or it could potentially be the reason why they get, I don't think the right word is outpaced, but they're going into a series where the team coming out of the West has had I would say a considerably harder time getting to the finals. Um, I mean, yeah, like I really do think that when we look at just competitiveness between the Eastern and Western Conference teams, the Western Conference does tip the scales, and it does have the stronger teams in it. That being said, yeah, I think that's going to be just the biggest thing in this upcoming series is that the Western Conference team is either going to be beat to shit because they've had to fight through so many good teams, and the Celtics will just outpace them and kind of do what they're supposed to do, or the Celtics are in for a rude awakening, and when they first kind of hit that court against a team that has had to claw their way to the same game, it could go wrong for them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the Celtics and kind of their path through the playoffs. It was like Kevin said. I mean, it really was what they're supposed to do. It's still impressive, and like I always. That's why I recently told Victor I was like, people people kind of like saying like, oh, the Nuggets didn't go two times, to the Western Conference Finals and kind of giving them slack for that. But when LeBron, went to 8 consecutive ones, no one really batted an eye. So it means a lot. I think the Celtics still getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and winning it, that still means something. Obviously they still have to beat out those teams, but that is what they're supposed to do, and now they just have to do the rest of their job and finish it out. If they don't, then I think you got to go back to the drawing board because this wasn't a success. Because the bar for success for them is to get to the Eastern Conference Finals every year now. And when they don't do that, I think it's considered a failure, or at least it should be.
I just want to state for the record, I do not think the East is stronger than the West at all. Like that, those words never came out of my mouth. I think that the Mavs will for sure be the Celtics' toughest opponent thus far. No doubt. No doubt. So I'm looking forward to the series, and I got Celtics in 7.
My prediction was Celtics in 7 too. That's what I was feeling. Just looking at playoff stats and in general, Celtics beat the Mavericks in every single category. And honestly, they have the better team. And Porzingis is going to be back healthy, so I got Celtics in 7.
I'll go next since I think it's probably going to be the same order maybe as last time. But yeah, I'm gonna ride Mavericks out on this one. I don't know why, but in my vision, I just see Mavericks winning 2 games back to back at whatever point it is. I see it being a dogfight. I see it going to 6. But yeah, I have this like vision of Tatum with his hands over his like heads, like kind of in disbelief. And it's not even like me being shitty. It's literally just me saying like I feel like that's gonna happen. They're gonna go up 2, and then it's just gonna be winning 1 game, and it's just gonna come down to game 6. Mavericks win, and that's all she wrote. I don't know. That's what I'm feeling.
So I think we have a great series ahead of us. Kyrie making his return to Boston in the NBA Finals, not on the Celtics, which I think is going to make it a lot more fun. Is seeing what that atmosphere is like when he's in that arena. I mean, we all know what the stadium sounds like when Kyrie returns to Boston. All the boos, all the cheers when he misses a shot, when he messes up. We know what to expect. But I'm really excited to see Kyrie back in the finals. I'm really excited to see Luka Doncic arrive to the finals for his first time. Celtics are on the revenge tour. I'm excited to see them back. I feel like that they didn't play their best 2 years ago against the Golden State Warriors. I don't feel like it. I know they definitely didn't because watching them that series, I was like, I know they're a lot better than this, and they'll definitely be back. And they're back now. I think both of these teams match up pretty well against each other. One of the big concerns with Dallas against the Minnesota series was that Minnesota defense and the way that they play drop coverage and the way that they like to blitz the ball screens sometimes. But with just Luka being the great offensive player he is, the way that he can play make, the way that he can really dissect the defense, really led them to beating the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then to the same thing about Kyrie Irving too. So as far as a prediction, it's gonna sound weird. I don't know if it's gonna make any sense. I think whoever wins game 3 is gonna win in 6.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
So
the
if
winner
it's
of
one,
game 3 is gonna win in 6.
I guess that's kind of what I was getting at. Like I could potentially seeing it going, Celtics 1, Mavericks 2 and 3, and then Mavericks and like, win game 6.
I think you said Celtics win 2 and then Mavericks win 4 straight.
I hope I didn't because that would suck for editing purposes. But yeah, I meant Mavericks win 2 back to back. Tatum has his hands over his head, and then they win 1 to close out.
Honestly, like even as a clear biased Celtics fan, even if the Celtics do somehow find a way to lose this series, watching Luka win his first championship is it's like a time in history that like in 30 years from now you're going to be watching like NBA historic games, and like Luka's closeout finals game for his first championship is going to be one of those games on everyone's list that they air all the time. Similar to like the Jordan's last championship, the last game against the Jazz, stuff like that. So it's going to be it really is a moment in history, especially NBA history. It's a moment in history in itself, just sports history, but seeing the phenom that Luka Doncic has become and watching his rise and what he's done for European players in the NBA, it's something that even if you're on the fence about NBA and basketball in general, it's something that you should really, really tune into because either way, Tatum or Luka, you're getting an all-time great with their first championship. So it's really going to cement legacies and people in history. So I would never miss this series as a basketball fan.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's going to be historic for both teams. Someone's getting their first ring in this upcoming series, and Celtics winning, that would have them being the most winningest franchise in the NBA history. So, like that's always huge. So, yeah, whoever wins, I think it's going to be a great watch. I definitely do not want to miss it. I don't believe I will ever miss the series. But yeah, I'm really excited for it to start. I'm just hoping the Mavericks can close it out tomorrow so that they don't have to play all the way till like June 3rd and then have a quick turnaround to like NBA Finals in June 6th. I really wanted when the series first started and they both got the 3-0, and I was like, damn, two sweeps. But when it got to that point, I was like, all right, I hope they each close out game 4 because with both of these teams having a like week and a half rest, a full week rest, I feel like it'll be very, very beneficial, especially to Luka because we know he's playing banged up,
Yeah,
even though
that's what
he's
I
still
was.
dropping 30 points.
Yeah, I was gonna say that rest he needs it definitely. But another thing I wanted to add too is with the Mavericks, if they do win the championship and Luka gets the Finals MVP, I think it'll be a similar situation to last season when Nikola Jokic didn't win MVP and then won the Finals MVP, and everybody was realizing that they messed up giving the MVP to Joel Embiid last year.
If Luka wins MVP, I get all the chips, right? Remember my take?
I
No.
also said Luka should have been MVP
No,
early.
my take was when we said like who do we think will have like an incredible like playoff performance? Like who do you think will have what would we say?
That's no, no, no. What we said, what my question was, is who's going to be a breakout player performer? And your guess was not valid.
You
But
were
you
It was
guys
actually
not.
said no.
rescinded from that. You
But
were rescinded from that segment for that take.
you know what's crazy though is what I remember you guys saying is like he would have to do nothing short of winning like the fine like a championship and finals MVP.
I
And now
said
he
that's
actually has
that's not
it.
what I said. I said he has to average 60 in these
Yeah,
playoffs.
I said he's gonna have to drop 80 points in a game. Like word for word, that's what I said.
I don't know.
I
I
didn't say
think you
anything
guys are
about.
backtracking.
No, I didn't say anything about winning a finals or finals MVP.
I think you got brain damage.
I'm pretty sure I remember you guys saying like he would have to do nothing short of winning a championship. And at that point it was like somewhat like unbelievable to think that the Mavericks would do that.
I mean, feelings are personal. That's just not true. I said score 60 a game.
Honestly, like he didn't really break out. Like
Yeah, I mean he hasn't been.
that was the original question, was breakout player. He didn't really break out. Like he's just like that.
Yeah, I
So
know.
like yes, it would be extremely impressive, but I don't think winning a championship would count him as a breakout player still. So like
Yeah.
yes, I kind of agree with that, but like not all the way. Not all the
I
way.
th- I think Luka Doncic broke out as a player when he turned 16 years old. But anyways, I wanted to bring up one thing was a quote. And I always love this guy's quotes because they're hilarious. And it's Joe Mazzulla. And I want to get your guys' reaction to it.
If you
He
say the
said,
bird thing,
no, he's saying, I coach because I'm not really good at anything else.
true. True. I can agree with that. I can get down with that.
I would think that's most people, but yeah.
I mean, he did have his scouting report on Quizlet, so he's really not good at at
Forgot
hiding
about that.
information. so clearly he's lacking something by putting a public Quizlet of his scouting report. But I mean, I'm still on the fence about Missoula. I really like how he lets them play and he doesn't call timeouts. On the same token, though, that has hurt the Celtics a lot this season in some points because the Celtics' immediate follow up to an opposing team's run is iso ball and 3-pointers. Especially you, Derek White. I'm looking at you. When they go in, I love you, but when you miss, I get really fucking mad watching the Celtics. But um, yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell still because he did kind of just walk into Ime Udoka's system and roll with it. But I mean, a championship's a championship. It takes well-rounded good coaching, even if the system and foundation was established first. Not that we were debating whether or not he was a good coach, but that was my 2 cents on that quote.
One disclaimer I wanted to make before we move on is if by some miracle we all get caught with our pants down and Anthony Edwards actually does somehow come back from this deficit, that I mean, I wouldn't want to be. I'll just say this: I wouldn't want to be Tatum going up against that match, or like going into that matchup. I don't care how tired that team is. If they just had to fight back 4 games in a row. I also wanted to mention I don't really know if Mavs will close out in this next game. I think it might take 2 more. I think it might get close, but
They are going back to Minnesota as well, which sucks for the Mavs.
But be honest,
Oh
man.
no, Luka hit a game winner there.
True, true. Just, I mean, I guess maybe not for the Mavs specifically, but in general, it sucks when you don't close out the sweep because you have to go back and beat them at home. But go ahead, Victor.
No, I was just say they barely lost the last game, game 4. Like Timberwolves just made a little bit more shots than them. The game was real close, and it ultimately came down to the wire. Cat fouled out. Everybody else was in foul trouble too on the Timberwolves. So it just came down to those last few possessions.
Mavericks were missing a lot of easy shots, and BJ Washington, I don't think I've ever seen a more poor shooting performance from the 3-point line. Like, my God, it was bad.
Yeah, it was. It truly was pretty hard to watch his
He was getting
performance.
mad. And even like Kyrie in the last few moments of the game, he was missing like shots around the basket that he usually makes. Free throws, and
Seeing
were
him miss
big
two
too.
free throws, I don't, that wasn't last game, I don't think. But did you guys see he missed 2 free throws in clutch time?
That was game 2 or 3, I believe. That was
That was
game 2.
that still sits with me. I love it.
Yeah, free throws have been a problem for the Mavericks this series, it seems like, which they got to clean that up because free throws decide games, especially if it's very close to the end. And they're going to need all
especially
the points they need if they're going to want to win an NBA championship.
especially if you're going up against the Celtics too.
It was nice seeing Cat put those 1,500 shots to use as well in that last game. That was a good one.
Yeah. Talking about playing like horse shit. Karl Anthony
Dude,
Towns
I,
is garbage
Dude,
when
this
come on.
series.
Guys, they're unfortunate bounces. Come on.
when game 4 started, they were like, Karl Anthony Towns. I think it was, I don't know if it was Mike Breen or Harlan. I think it was Kevin Harlan, but he was like, Karl Anthony Towns, 4 for 32 shooting this series. And dude,
That's
when
so
I tell you
bad.
my jaw hit the floor, I was like, damn, bro.
Do you know why
It's
I said
so bad.
do you
You
know
can't
why
get
I
the
said
ass of
the
a
thing?
cow.
Unfortunate bounces. Do you know why I said that, Miles?
Why?
That's like what he was saying. He was saying like how he takes like so many of these shots like during practice and throughout the playoffs and stuff, and he was like, and just to get those unfortunate bounces and you know shots that don't land. It's like, bro, you're just not getting them to fall. What do you what do you want? Like, what do you mean unfortunate bounces? I'm gonna start saying that. I'm gonna start pulling from the hash and just unfortunate bounce.
Yeah, every miss. I was gonna say there's no such thing as touch when you're shooting threes. So it's interesting.
June 6th, NBA Finals on ABC. Tune in. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Who's going to win and how many games? Moving on to our next topic of the day. It's actually a little bit of an interactive segment. I'm going to take a break from the news and some of the talks. We're going to have a fun little interactive segment for you guys. It's something we've never done before. So we're going to see how it goes. Been seeing it all over TikTok and other channels do it too. And it's something I've always wanted to do. So we're going to do a little bit of a would you rather. So I have three players, got three different editions. We're going to have three players in the hot seat today. I'm going to name them, and you guys are going to pick would you rather have that player or another player that's like of their caliber or same position. So our first edition for our would you rather is going to be Devin Booker in the hot seat. Would you rather Devin Booker or Anthony Edwards?
This is all like how they're currently like this last season, not like
Good day.
okay.
Well, I mean, I'll obviously go first. Come on now. I mean, you got to put a lot of chips on Anthony Edwards. He's yeah, what he did with the Timberwolves this season was just downright dirty, especially taking down the defending champs and just in general. I mean, playing some good ball. I just think he brings energy. I think that's why you would put a lot of what's the word? A lot of faith in him. And I would that's why I would probably construct a team and put him on it over Devin Booker.
I'm going Devin Booker. I think it's still a little bit too early. With Ant, I like how Devin Booker has been playing. He's been playing pretty good these past few seasons, and he's has a little bit more playoff experience than Anthony Edwards. So for those reasons, I'm going to go with him.
I'm also gonna go with Devin Booker. I think I want to say Ant just because Ant's doing this and he's so young and he has that killer instinct, but Devin Booker is just right now much more consistent, much more refined in the NBA game. Better decision maker, I would say. Definitely not a better defender, but I mean, this man can flat out score the ball from anywhere. And I know Ant's getting there, but I don't think he's quite to Booker's level yet. Booker is, I mean, the facts speak for themselves. Booker was just selected for actually never mind, never mind. I'm not going to make that point. I'll save that. I did like the development of Devin Booker's playmaking this year as well. That was really nice to see playing the point guard role with the new roster. But honestly, I feel like Devin Booker's failure is a product of the team's construction more than of him. Like you look at Anthony Edwards like team construction, like the Timberwolves, that team is constructed for one purpose, and that is defense. And the Suns are constructed for one purpose, and that's offense, except Bradley Beal is trash. So it's kind of hard to take Ant over Booker right now because I think if you put Booker on Ant's team, I might be a hot take. I feel like he would be just as successful. That's that might be a hot take. I kind of want to know what you guys think about that, if you don't mind me asking.
So I'm really glad that you said that because that's kind of what I was about to say. I was going to say, like, with my pick of Anthony Edwards, I'm not unaware that a big part of his success is the people like his supporting cast and that Timberwolves team. I mean, without them, Ant is not making it this far, in my personal opinion. Even though he is a big part of them making it there, he is not the only reason. And one cannot happen with the without. That being said, the reason why I pick Ant, I think, is because I think this in the very recent past is when we've seen Ant kind of step into more of that like number one spot on that team. I think where he's kind of he takes on a little bit more of the load as the superstar on that team, the guy who you give the rock to in big moments. And I think just with that, he's going to improve and his shooting percentages and just everything. I think overall he's just going to become a lot better of a player long term than Devin Booker potentially can. Like I think in the long run, potentially Anthony Edwards could be a lot better than Devin Booker. But I do realize that right now Devin Booker is definitely someone you'd want to have on your team.
I think a lot of people just forget how good Devin Booker is, and he's very slept on and hated. So that plays a big factor into that. And I think if you put him on the Timberwolves, I think he'd do good there too. It's just defensively, they'll be missing that a little bit with Anthony Edwards being the better defender. But I just another thing too is Devin Booker is entering his prime right now. He's 27 years old only. It feels like he's been in the league for 14 years, but he's only 27. So
True.
Yeah, I'm
Kevin.
not.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry. I didn't
I
mean to
just
cut you
wanted to
off.
say no. I just wanted to say that I think because I didn't answer, I don't think Devin Booker would be able to lead that team to the same area that Anthony Edwards has led them to this year. But go ahead, Kev.
I think he definitely could because Devin Booker has led a team farther. He's led a team to the NBA Finals. And I think the Timberwolves would be better with Devin Booker because while they do give up a little bit of defense, they get a lot better offense. They get a lot consistent score. They get a better shooter. They get a better mid-range shooter, and they get a way better playmaker. So I think they would be better with Devin Booker as opposed to Anthony Edwards. I'm a little conflicted picking Anthony Edwards over Devin Booker in this scenario just because I like Ant's defense, especially like kind of recency bias to what he's doing right now. I'm still gonna go with Devin Booker on this. Now I got two more other players to add on top of who are gonna take over Devin Booker. So I'm gonna end it right there. Would you rather Devin Booker or Jaylen Brown? This isn't who you think is better, by the way. This is who you would rather have. I want to add. I know people can get a little bit confused. Who would you rather? D Book, Jaylen Brown.
It kind of depends on like fit, but I'm not gonna go that deep. Would anyone like to volunteer before I give my take? Pains me. It really does. It's so painful, but I have no choice but to take Devin Booker. I have been a Jaylen Brown is the best shooting guard in the league stand for years now, but it's just not true. It's hard to keep that mask on because I don't really believe it. Especially this season, just like watching so much Celtics basketball. Jaylen Brown is a horrible decision maker. You could say whatever the fuck you want about his left hand, all that bullshit, but when it comes down to it, his worst quality is his decision making, and it really hurts the Celtics at times. There's always costly turnovers, there's always horrible shot selection, there's always like messing up plays, bad fouls. It's really kind of upsetting for a guy that smart to have an IQ of in basketball that low. But Devin Booker just doesn't have those problems. And I think Devin Booker's a better scorer. I think Jaylen Brown is a way better defender, but it's I want to say Booker, but we haven't seen what Jaylen Brown could do on his own team before. And I think it's close because the fact that he's putting up I don't know his exact numbers, but I'm gonna assume it's around like 24, 25. But those types of numbers as a second option, I think is very impressive. And it could easily be 30 on the Portland Trailblazers, but we would never know. So I'm gonna go Booker now for the simple fact that we haven't seen what Jalen can do alone, but the decision making, especially recently, has been really pissing me off. So I'll go Devin Booker.
I'll go next. As Kevin recently stated before we started this segment, this is a who would you rather instead of who do you think is better. And when it comes to this matchup, I am gonna go with Jaylen Brown. In the rare
And
occasions
does
that I
not like
have,
Booker.
I don't like Booker. I don't know why, but there are reasons. It's kind of like the situation with Embiid where I kind of forgot why I don't like Booker. Maybe it was because he dated Kendall Jenner. I don't know, but I'm not a big fan of Book for some reason. But anyway, when it comes to watching the Celtics play, on the rare occasion that I got a chance to watch the Celtics play, I've been saying this for months, and I feel like you could make a montage of all the times I've said this on the podcast. When I watch the Celtics play, my personal opinion is that the real dark horse, like superstar, the real person on that team that you go to in big moments, the guy that is kind of, if he leaves, that team falls apart at the core, is Jaylen Brown. I think he's such a big part of that Celtics team. And I think, like Miles said, we haven't seen him on his own team, but I think he would just be so good on his own team. I think, yeah, I think he would be just incredibly dominant. And I think that one thing I should say is that Jaylen Brown to me is the best player on that Celtics team because Tatum is addicted to recreating Kobe highlights. But if he was a tier one slasher and he used his body and he got to the rim every time, he may just be the greatest player out of the East we've almost ever seen. I don't know. I'm just kind of messing around there. But yeah, Jaylen
Yeah.
Brown is who I would pick over Devin Booker.
Mendham forgot about a little gentleman named Michael Jordan and LeBron James there for a little bit, as far as greatest player ever coming out the East. Here's the thing with Brown and Tatum. Jaylen Brown can do everything Tatum can do. Tatum just does it better. He's a better defender. He's a better scorer. He's a better passer. I hate to say they're like the same player because they're really not, but in the same way they kind of are. I don't know if that made any sense or if I just contradicted myself real bad, but I feel like you guys might know what I'm trying to say when I say that. As far as this argument with me, I'm actually a fan. I'm more of a fan of Jaylen Brown's game than I am of Devin Booker's game. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest Devin Booker fan. I don't like how hard he acts. I think he's a little soft. But this dude can freaking play. As much as it pains me to say, Devin Booker's a bucket. Watching Devin Booker play whenever I watch a game where Devin Booker's playing, I'm just like the whole time I'm just shaking my head, just going, damn, like he's so freaking good. It makes me mad.
He plays at
But in this scenario, I think I'm gonna go with Devin Booker over Jaylen Brown. I feel like I would just want if I was starting a team and it was down to these last two guys. I'm not trying to make it too deep, but I would probably give Devin Booker the edge over Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Devin Booker as well, man. I mean, I just feel like people forget how good he is and like how much of a great scorer he is and how he can lead a team before KD was there. And we haven't seen that yet with Jaylen Brown, but I do think Jaylen Brown could do that on his own. But I still like Devin Booker a little bit more. I like the defense on Jaylen Brown, but if I had to choose one over the other, and if it's going to be on a team that's going to try to make it far, I think I'm going to go with Devin Booker. If I needed to add like a little bit of like a second star to the team, I think I would go Jaylen Brown though, just to
these
complement the team.
these takes could age terribly next year because Katie is for sure leaving Phoenix, right? Or is that not for sure?
No,
When did you
Well,
become Woj?
I don't know. But
I when did that happen?
Yeah,
Is he supposed to leave?
yeah, I thought they're about to blow up Phoenix. I thought KD wants out. I thought they were getting ready to
no.
switch things up.
The owner literally said he loves where the team's at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
he
doesn't
said
think they
that.
need to change much. Well, that's the owner we're talking about.
That's true.
So what he says goes. That's big boss.
That's KD
that's
though.
big cheese.
You know who he is.
He ain't no. We're not talking about a shift leader here or the assistant manager. No, we're talking the fucking owner.
No, that's facts.
So final round of the Devin Booker edition. Last player I have up. This one might be a sweep, but I just thought it'd be fun to throw in there because of recency. Would you rather Devin Booker or Jalen Brunson? Jay Bunny. Who would you rather? It might be closer than I think it is.
Shit, bro. I'm still in the boat that like I don't know if this okay. I'm really not trying to get hate, so I don't know how to say this without getting hate, but I'm still in the boat that like I want to make sure Jalen Brunson isn't a fluke still. Like
Yeah.
I wanna see him do it for like a longer period of time because obviously this season was incredible. This man was probably a top two or top three point guard in the entire NBA. So like I just want to see it for longer. But I'm gonna have to think on that. One of y'all one of y'all give a take, bro. I
What's
don't know.
crazy? What's crazy is that D Book and Brunson are the same age. I think they're a year apart. I think Booker might be like a year older. But so Brunson is a little bit of a late bloomer. I think he stayed in college a little bit later than Devin Booker did. I don't believe Jalen Brunson was one and done. But for the sake of that, I feel like Devin Booker is still progressing. I still feel like Jalen Brunson is still progressing. He's only been a number one option on an NBA team. What, 1 year, 2 years now? 2 years. So I feel like he still has a lot left to prove. And so does D Book. But for the sake of the argument, just seeing both these guys lead a team, I'm gonna go D Book. Like that WNBA player said, Jalen Brunson's too small to lead a team. I don't believe that. I'm just saying it.
I was gonna say, I was like, I still don't know what to think of that take, but go ahead, Victor.
This is gonna hurt me because I do like Devin Booker, but I think I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna sell my house. I'm gonna put it all on Jalen Brunson and just have to bite the bullet. Hopefully the stock rises and he keeps playing like this because he's been playing fantastic. I love what he's been doing for that Knicks team, and he's going to be a great point guard in the future. And just like what he's been doing for that Knicks culture, revitalized that like franchise and brought like playoff basketball back to New York, just was insane. Dropped multiple 40 points a game consecutively in the playoffs. I'm gonna bite the hype. I'm a buy the hype.
I'm going D Book on this one.
No, no elaboration.
I mean,
Just you feel it.
for all the reasons that you guys had said previously in the like Jalen Brown and all that. I mean, it's the same thing. Just I think head to head, I would rather have Devin Booker, but it's not terribly far apart from each other, I guess.
So I'm really torn on this one, but I think I'm honestly in the same boat as Vic, bro. I think I'm gonna have to take Jalen Brunson. I think what he did this season was like incredible. And yes, it's one season, but this is a 40% three-point shooter for multiple seasons. This is a clear leader on a squad, knows how to lead a team. Even if he's doing it, it's still pretty early for the Knicks, but I think that the Knicks overachieved this year, and it's pretty much exclusively because of him. I don't see a lot of errors in his game other than he's a bit undersized. So defensively, he's a little bit of a liability, although he does have a big body to like guard bigger guards, but I mean, damn man, I think Jalen Brunson, even if he is the same age as Booker, I still kind of view him mentally as a younger player just because I feel like his ceiling is like we have no idea where his ceiling is because I think there's still room to grow there. I kind of feel like we've seen Booker's ceiling a little bit and he's a lot closer to his than Brunson is. So I think if he left the Mavs earlier, we could have seen this breakout earlier, but yeah, I think I'm going with Brunson, but it's extremely, extremely close. But I'm gonna give the edge to Brunson.
All right, so that was our first edition of Would You Rather, Devin Booker edition.
If you made it this far into the podcast, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to rate and help the boys out, bro. We trying to get paid for real. Back to the pod.
So as recent news has been coming up that Jimmy Butler, Pat Riley, we really don't know what that situation is going to look like, but Jimmy Butler does want a max extension this offseason. He prefers the Heat, and if it's another team, he'll go there, but would probably want to be the Heat. And Pompey on the Sixers, he has a podcast. He was talking to the Sixers ownership group, and they said that they kind of regret what they did 5 years ago with giving up Jimmy Butler and seeing the success that he's had right now with the Miami Heat. And they realized that in their eyes, he could have been the missing piece for them and are willing to give him the money he wants. And the 76ers are also expected to show interest in Zach LaVine and Brandon Ingram. They believe that they can use their draft picks and cap space to acquire a difference maker via a trade, and which this led to Miami Heat forward Jimmy Butler, Zach LaVine, and Brandon Ingram among their trade interests. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the 76ers should go after Jimmy Butler or Zach LaVine or Brandon Ingram?
I feel like over the past few seasons, the Philadelphia 76ers have kind of became like the joke that the Knicks were of they're going to get everyone in free agency. I feel like I've just seen so many like news articles and hypotheticals and scenarios the past season or two of like, oh, they might go there, and nothing ever happens. They end up just like re-signing Tobias Harris.
True.
But that's how I feel like Philly is right now. As far as do I think it really is just between Brandon Ingram and Jimmy Butler. I don't think they should go for Zach LaVine at all, considering just the way Maxey is and the way that he likes to play. I do believe he is better than Zach LaVine. I think if they target anybody, they should bring Jimmy Butler back. Clearly, not too completely sold on Brandon Ingram coming over to Philadelphia. I don't really think he fits the play style and the personnel that Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey play with. I feel like Jimmy Butler does, you know. Yeah, I think they should target Jimmy. You know, he has a lot more experience than the other two. He's been to the finals twice already. I'm saying already, like, I mean, he's like, what, 32? Something like that. So the window for him is kind of cool. Jimmy Butler's
34.
35.
He's 34.
Well, he's about to turn
34.
35 this season.
Well, so that window, regardless, that window for him is closing. I feel like he can push them over the hump that they've been stuck on the past decade that they would really need. I feel like Jimmy Butler would be their best bet, depending on if they were to acquire him through trade and if they're able to pay him what he would like, obviously.
My opinion on this is Jimmy Butler would be the best option in like a perfect world. I agree with you, Kevin. But I think that what they did to Jimmy Butler was like relationship destroying. I think that they gave like giving up on a player, especially Jimmy Butler. We hear all the time that he came from nothing, got kicked out the house. Like giving up on a player like that, I don't think Jimmy Butler has any interest in playing hard and playing competitively for a team who previously bet on someone else over him. And I think this is opinionated, but I think that's his personality, just the way he acts and holds himself. The thing is, though, is I can't believe Jimmy Butler wants max a max contract, like max extension, because 35 going to be that means you have Jimmy Butler on your team when you're 40 years old. And Jimmy's a beast. Jimmy plays both ends hard. He brings it to every game, plays competitive, but how effective can Jimmy Butler be still? I think he's the perfect piece as a veteran looking like for a young team looking to like get to that next level. I know we always bring up the Thunder, but like the Thunder, for example, putting Jimmy Butler on that team could really elevate them. It's not realistic, I know that, but I feel like the max extension though is asking a little too much. The
The
final thing
seven,
is, I'm sorry.
I was going to say the 76ers are planning to offer him that if they somehow land him.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's smart to just summarize, but final thing I want to say is Brandon Ingram is only 26 years old and bro has a lot of growing that he could still do. I've said that a few times this pod, but I feel like for the sake of how young, I know Embiid's getting up there, but how young Maxey is, I feel like Ingram fits their timeline much better than Jimmy Butler does. But that's just some of my firsthand opinions on the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as Miles, I guess, on this one. I don't think that Jimmy would be a good fit to go back to his ex and to kind of see if that works out again. I don't think it will for a lot of different reasons. I think even just from, a basketball standpoint, I think there would be some issues and in kind of well, I guess not because Jimmy has said that he wants to take on a more playmaking role. I don't know. I just in my opinion, if they were to go after him, I would foresee just conflict on that team and turmoil between Embiid and Jimmy, especially going into like competitive games. Like who's going to be. I don't know. I just think they're both outspoken athletes in the NBA, and I think that there would just be too much clashing. So for that reason, I think you go younger. I think you draft someone younger, and I think you draft someone that could potentially fit better within that offense. So I'd go BI.
Yeah, I don't think Jimmy Butler is the right answer for the 76ers, but I do like when he was there, that was probably the best lineup they had with Ben Simmons, JJ Redick, Tobias Harris, Embiid, and Butler. Since this year, like this year was a really good lineup for them. It was unfortunate that Embiid got hurt and stuff because I think that if they were healthy, that they would have made a deeper playoff run. But I was going to say another option that's a dark horse for the 76ers to land is OG Anunoby. If for no other reason that New York can't match the money, they're saying that Anunoby might go somewhere else.
I mean, OG is one of those players that can fit in on any team. I don't think I necessarily love the signing of OG Anunoby, but another free agent that we have coming up this year, Paul George, could possibly be a name. I've seen his name float around Sixers talks the past month or so. And Pascal Siakam is a free agent. I don't know what his plan is if he wants to return to Indiana. I think he should just because, they just made the conference finals. I'm not saying that they'll do it again next year. I mean, the Pacers, I think they're going to be very competitive next year. I think they're going to be very good, especially with the emergence of guys like Andrew Nemhard and Neesmith looked really good at the end of the year. Miles Turner is continuing to be Miles Turner. But I feel like he could be another name that they target. He has the experience. He's very good in the playoffs. I think he could fit their play style pretty well. I don't think they're making the best use of the options that they have, though, the free agents that are coming out this summer. Like I feel like limiting it to Zach LaVine, Brandon Ingram, and Jimmy Butler. I feel like they're not weighing their options the best, and then also throwing OG in there. To be honest, I would prefer to see them go elsewhere from those other three players, if I'm being honest. I'm not really loving any of those three guys on Philly.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. They all kind of seem like, I don't want to be disrespectful and say mid, but for the sake of Philly's situation, they don't really seem like, none of them seem like great fits, especially Levine. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Here's what I'm
none of it's eye popping to me.
here's what I'm thinking. I think Philadelphia is realizing Embiid's aging. He's 30 years old. They haven't gone past the second round with him. They're looking to add another piece, see if it works, that they could probably get past the second round, potentially the finals. And if that doesn't work, I think after that, they're going to keep Tyrese Maxey and then look to trade Embiid somewhere else. Because if it's not working, why not trade him? See what they could get back for him and build around Tyrese Maxey. Because I think the alarms are starting to go off a little bit for them. They're realizing that, hey, we've been trusting this process for a little bit too long. We need to look somewhere else. And Tyrese Maxey might be that guy for them.
No,
I'd
that's
start
that's a good take. I agree with that.
I'd start watching Philly basketball again if they got rid of Embiid.
I agree with that too, dude. Philly basketball is the worst. I fucking hate watching that team.
Yeah, they're a pretty boring team to watch. I mean, Embiid's great. Guy puts up numbers. I don't really love watching him play, if I'm being completely honest. But I mean, yeah, Victor, you pretty much summed it up right there. I mean, 1 or 2 more years with another big name over there, one that could draw a lot of attention. If it doesn't work, then yeah, it's only a matter of time before they look elsewhere and just start rebuilding for the future. Maxi's still young. He's emerging pretty well. He played great in the playoffs. Embiid is, you don't really know what you're going to get with him. He's pretty injury prone. I mean, a team will pick him up. A team will trade him. He's a former MVP of the league, former scoring champion. Like the guy can play when he plays.
We could be a lot closer to the fall of Embiid than we think too. I mean, centers. How much faster do centers retire than other positions on the court? Is there any difference?
That's actually kind of a good question. I'm trying to think of like the last center that retired that was like big.
I
'Cause
feel like
But
I don't know. I just feel like whenever when I feel like centers like that's kind of like a known thing that centers just don't have the longevity that say like a point guard would have.
But I feel like it kind of just depends on like individual health too, you know.
True.
I mean, Embiid had a knee procedure earlier this year, back in January, February, whenever that was, you know, on top of the surgeries and injuries he's had in the past, you know, it kind of just keeps adding on and piling on.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like it really just depends on individual's health. If he can stay healthy, he can play for a while. But if he keeps getting like a big injury every single year and keeps on having to get procedures done, you know, we could see that window close. I did mention it a few episodes ago, not a few, more like a month or two ago, that we're kind of seeing that same thing happen with Giannis too. You know, he's been getting hurt. He relies a lot on his athleticism, and that window for him to win a championship is really closing up too.
Winning another championship, right?
Yeah, because you know, I mean, can't really shoot. He relies a lot on his body and his athleticism, and you don't always have your body and athleticism the older you get in the NBA. You know, that's why we can see guys like Jokic and Luka play forever, really, because they rely a lot on their skills. Same with Steph Curry. Embiid and Giannis really just don't fall into that category the way that they do. Well, Embiid might, you know, he could shoot, he can score, but you know, he still gets hurt a lot. So we're gonna move on to our next segment for the day. It's another interactive segment. Feel free to play at home. I'm going to see if Victor, Miles, and Daniel can name all 15 players from the 2010-2011 All NBA teams. Got the list of the first team, second team, and third team here. We're going to go team by team. We're going to start off with the first team. So I feel like it's going to be a little bit easier. And then from there, I think it gets a little bit tougher. I think it can be a little bit surprising. If you guys want to go ahead and shout out names one by one, we can do that. Or I can give the teams and you guys can give your guess right there. So what are we thinking? What do we
Let's
want?
go. Let's go one by one,
Okay.
and let's just knock them out. Let's see how many we could get before we miss one.
All right. All NBA first team, first pick. Vic, give me a name.
LeBron James.
LeBron James of the Miami Heat did make the All NBA first team in 2010 and 2011. Daniel, pick number 2. Give me a name.
Give me Dwight Howard, Magic.
Dwight Howard, Magic did make the All NBA first team 2010 and 2011. Miles,
Derrick Rose.
the Rose, kid from Chi-Town, did make the All NBA first team 2010 and 2011. Starting off 3 for 3 now, starting off pretty hot. Victor, back to you.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bean Bryant did make the NBA first team as well. Daniel, can we get the sweep? 5 for 5.
Because I'm thinking like what KD.
Yes, good shit.
Final
Good
answer.
shit.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Kevin Durant, you guys have completed the sweep for the
Good shit.
All NBA first team. It's pretty easy.
Boom, boom.
Moving on to the All NBA second team of the 2010 and 2011 NBA season. Miles, it's going to start with you. Give me a face.
Pau Gasol.
Pau Gasol. Valid. Victor, going to you.
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony is a miss. The first one of the episode. Daniel, give me a face.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk Nowitzki, valid. Did make the All NBA second team that year. Congratulations to Dirk. Miles, back to you.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, also valid. Did make the All NBA first team. Victor, back to you. We got 2 more players left.
Oh, Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade is a valid guess.
Damn.
Daniel,
That was
back to you. Final
So-
player on the list
on the Knicks, not
of the All
Carmelo
NBA
Anthony.
second team.
It has to be the Knicks, right? Because Kobe. Yeah, we already got. Yeah.
Vic thinks
Oh,
he's got
sorry.
it. I already
I
know it.
know it. I know it too.
Dude, I don't know. I really don't have like a guess. I don't know any other Knicks players that were playing at the time. I don't think I do.
All right, we'll lock in Aaron Aflalo for your guess, which is invalid.
Okay.
I don't even think he was on the team that year,
It's a
but
fucking deep cut.
he came to my, but I don't know why he just popped in my head. It's
Like in
not him.
Randy Foy.
Randy Foy. Oh my God. All right, Miles, guess to you. Can
Okay.
you close it?
I'm between two bigs. It's either going to be Stoudemire or Tyson Chandler, but it's weird because they already have Dirk and they have Pau Gasol on the list. So I don't think it's Lynn Sanity. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Tyson Chandler.
Tyson Chandler, invalid.
Fuck.
Yeah. All right,
Linsanity would have been good if they considered the last 10 games of the season. That week where he was hooping. That was 2010, right? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
2010, 2011 season. But Vic, guess to you.
Mine was Amari Stoudemire.
I'm pretty sure it was Tyson Chandler.
It was
But
Tyson
we'll go ahead and
Chandler.
plug it.
Wait, what? I'm
But
so
we'll
confused.
go ahead.
No one reacts like for Amari Stoudemire. There's no way.
Wait. So when he said Tyson Chandler, why'd you say no?
No. I'm saying that you had Tyson Chandler in mind when he asked you earlier, but then he broke it down, guessed Tyson Chandler wrong, and you're like, oh shit, it's not him. And then acted like you had it the whole time. I'm joking.
Oh,
He knows what he did.
But
He knows what he did.
Amari Stoudemire was the last player on the All NBA second team.
That's
Moving on,
insane.
we've
So
only
many bigs.
that is pretty crazy.
How the fuck? Who's running small forward, bro?
Shoot, we just paid just to go 5x5. But now
Stoudemire, Gasol, or
moving,
fucking. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it is pretty. It is kind of a weird lineup, but Dirk could stretch. So could Gasol a little bit. But moving on to the All NBA third team, we're starting off with Daniel. We've only had a few misses so far. You guys done generally pretty good.
Me, Tony Parker.
Tony Parker is incorrect.
Okay.
Miles, guess to you.
Start somewhere.
I want to do the hard ones. I don't want to do the easy ones. So I guess I will take LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge, LA 2K jump shot cheese is correct. That's the best park jumper for many, many years in NBA 2K. LaMarcus Aldridge is correct. Victor, the next guess is to you.
I had my guess, but I kind of just forgot it. Oh, that's who it was. Give me Al Jefferson.
Al Jefferson is incorrect. Solid guess, though. Daniel, back to you.
Damn it. Victor fucking rubbed off on me on that chain. Give me Marc Gasol.
Marc Gasol, incorrect. Was not on the All NBA third team. Miles, back to you. This one's a little tricky.
I guess I'll give a Grizzlies guess. Give me Rudy Gay, Grizzlies legend.
Rudy Gay is incorrect, but he is
Fuck.
a Grizzlies legend.
Damn it. Dude, I thought that deep cut was mine, bro.
All right, Victor, back to you.
Was it Mike Conley?
Mike Conley is incorrect. We'll have a little bit of slow start, guys. Someone's got to pick it up. Daniel, back to you. Maybe you got it.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Has been guessed.
Fuck.
That's the only player y'all have.
Patty Mills then.
Patty Mills. Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
Do you know players from 2010?
No.
Are you looking at?
I'm taking stabs in the fucking
on.
dark, dude.
You're looking at a list of NBA rosters from that, and you're just throwing a dart and hoping it lands. That's what you're doing.
I had to for
You're
third
not-
team, dude, because third team is way too fucking hard.
There's legends on this list, kind of. But Miles, guess to you.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan is incorrect. Victor, back to you.
He's laughing his ass off over there just to guess Tim Duncan. Fucking dark.
Better than Patty Mills. Holy shit. That actually did take me by surprise. I was not expecting Tim Duncan to not make it.
All right. Was it the Junkyard Dog, Zach Randolph?
Junkyard Dog is incorrect. Oh, correct. My bad. It's correct. I almost said incorrect. Zebo. All NBA third team that year. We got 3 players left. Zebo was a member of the Grizzlies. Daniel, guess back to you. This will be good.
Give me
I've never been more excited for a guess in my life.
give
Jamal
me
Murray.
give me give me Trevor Ariza.
Are you dead ass? All right, Miles, guess to you.
You didn't even say it was. I'll go ahead and take Al Horford.
Al Horford, Atlanta Hawks is correct. We got 2 left. Victor, it's back to you.
Was it Manu Ginobili?
Manu Ginobili is correct. Was on the All NBA third team representing the Spurs. Daniel, can you end it? Can we end it? Guess to you.
I don't think we can here, man. Give me Danny Green.
Danny Green is incorrect. Miles, it is to you. Can we end it?
I got 2 players in mind. Question for you, host Kevin. When you say Hornets, you don't mean the Bobcats, do you?
Nope.
Okay. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon is invalid.
Shit.
Victor, guesses to you.
Steven Jackson?
Steven Jackson is incorrect.
That's
This is the New
Bobcats.
Orleans Hornets, by the way.
Oh, shit.
Daniel, guesses back to you.
Give me Chris Paul.
Paul is correct. We have
Damn. I thought
guessed.
I thought he was on the Clippers at that
Nope.
point.
That might have been his like 1 or 2 last years in New Orleans.
Fuck, dude. I was going to say that before Eric Gordon, but I thought he was gone already.
I was surprised by the Eric Gordon guess a little bit. I was like, oh,
Shit.
I didn't think about Eric Gordon. But yeah, those are all of the 15 players from the 2010-2011 All NBA teams.
Damn. I'm gonna look dumb for missing that fucking Hornets one. Shit.
I
One
wouldn't
of the
worry
best
about
Also,
it.
seasons.
Ginobili on the third team? For real? Parker
Over
must have
Duncan
been
and like
yeah,
over Duncan and Parker. It's pretty
Parker
crazy.
must have been injured that year or something.
And if people forget how nice Ginobili is for real.
Yeah, but how could he make it over someone like who starts?
Ginobili basically started.
True. Who was this is 2010, 2011?
Yeah. It's a wrap.
Yeah, Manu was an all-star, but Tony Parker wasn't, so that was the year he got hurt. Okay. Wow. That was interesting. I didn't know that.
Before we end the episode, I want to mention that Ben Simmons is back on the court. Let's go.
Let's go. The channel mascot, bro. I'm always here for the good news. Let's go.
And that is going to be an end of Good Morning Let's Basketball this week. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you can leave a like and subscribe, we drop episodes every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we should have a fun episode planned out next week. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And we'll see y'all next week.